Hey everybody, I'm Kandice.
And I'm Baxter.
And we are the Porters
Talk
Addiction. Welcome to another episode where we are just committed to just talking through the ins and outs of addiction, the journey of addiction, and just where we've been as a couple. You know, we've been married for 17 years and we are just in the process of walking out the addiction journey and the sobriety journey. And so
yeah, we're in our sobriety journey. We've walked in our addiction journey long enough, so now we're walking in our sobriety journey. And what are we talking about today, Candace?
So today we're going to talk about ways that families can support the addict. I think this is really important, especially for today's conversation with when we're talking about someone who is making the decision to take the road of sobriety. A lot of the times you need someone to come alongside you and, uphold you and keep you accountable and pray for you and all of the things that come with that. So I happen to be on the other side of that. I happen to be on the side where I am the one who is cheerleading and praying and encouraging those who struggle with addiction, right? Addiction is not something that I necessarily struggle with in the way of alcoholism or substance abuse, but I was and am to Baxter the person who is in his life to push him along and just let him know that he is supported and that he's not by himself in this journey. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Can I be controversial? I'm going to be controversial. I think that the person supporting a person that is struggling with substance use, I would challenge you to be proactive, because a lot of times, I see it today, I saw it when I was in my addiction, a lot of times people will see somebody, see that they have a problem and just not say anything, just rock with them. I think, what would it look like for somebody to proactively say, hey, such and such, do you think that you might have an issue? Mm-hmm. What would that look like?
Yeah, here's how that would look, because I know that I've been in that position where I have actively said, hey, I think that you have a problem. And what I was met with was, no, I don't. No, I don't. I was met with denial. I was met with a lack of reality, which I believe is just in turn denial. I was met with...
Are you getting angry?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't think so. I was met with lies. I was met with things that only made me feel like, what am I asking this question for in the first place?
Mm-hmm. You're met with gaslighting.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was met with gaslighting, whatever. Yes. So that is how I would answer that question, because I was that person when I finally notice that it was a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Because there has to be a time where you notice that it is a problem. But I think what you're saying, and I think you're trying to be a little slick, but it's cool. When you and the person are doing the things together, mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying, but it is a part of it. It like, kind of works hand in hand with it, because if you are telling somebody, hey, do you have a problem with this thing that we enjoy doing together? It doesn't hit as hard.
It doesn't hit as hard. But then when you are the person who notices that, oh, we're not just drinking to like go out to the club and have a good time, but you're actually drinking like right when you get home. Or, oh, I see bottles and you told me that you weren't drinking, but you are. So I think that it's when you see that there is an issue, right? When it becomes more than what you are normally used to.
Right.
When it becomes more of a, oh, I was just drinking socially.
Yeah.
But it looks to me like you are drinking to get through the day. And then not only that, to me it seems like you're drinking just to get through life. Mm-hmm. That's when it changes. So yes, there may be situations where you start out doing that thing with the person, right? You start out just having an occasional drink, and then you guys are just drinking to have fun. You're going out, you're partying, you're doing the things. But then when it changes and it shifts to, it seems like you're going just a little bit further. That's when you notice, like, oh, this is not just a social drinking situation. And then when you start finding stuff, like when you actually, because then that tells me that you're hiding something from me.
Yeah.
And because you're hiding something from me, that lets me know that you don't want to tell me the truth. Mm-hmm. And then
pause. Hang on. Because you're going too much and I don't want to lose this.
Sure.
So, real quick, we know what doesn't work. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. Because Kandice and I, when I was going through my addiction, we did everything that we just discussed. She would ask me about it. I would lie about it. She would start finding stuff. She would start finding like stashes of empty cans and bottles under stuff in the garage, under stuff, just finding stuff. And she reacted how she reacted, but it wasn't really effective. It wasn't really conducive. After a while it was, but it was after a while because I got tired of hearing it. I got tired of her asking about it before I started getting tired of this for my life. So we have a good idea of what doesn't work. What I'd like to discuss is alternative intervention techniques, because cannot guilt an addict into change.
That's right.
You can't guilt an addict into change, especially an addict that maybe is starting to come around to the idea that they have a problem. Can't guilt them into it. But I do apologize, sweetie. Go ahead and finish what your thought was, what you were about to say when you were about to start cooking. Because you were like, and then you start finding stuff.
Okay. I don't know. You cut me off at the wrong time. So now I don't know how to reintroduce that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I was just like,
well, what were you going to say after then you start finding stuff?
Okay, yeah. So you start finding stuff, and I'm trying to, when you start finding things, the first couple of times, I would say that when I would start finding things, I was met with, oh yeah, like, I just had that, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, because I like to ask questions. Well, why did you have that? And why did you hide it? Oh, well, I just did. I just slipped my mind. I just drank it and I just forgot. And then later on down the line, and you keep on finding stuff, and it's like, oh, well, I didn't leave that. That's not mine. And then you're like, what? Like, it's yours because this is the track record that you have. And I know it's not mine, and we're the only two adults living in this house, and our kids are super young. So I know it's not theirs. So I know it's yours. Then it just turns into just straight up, oh yeah, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So then when you are looking to have these discussions, when you're looking to say, hey, I know this is a problem, but you've already been met with so much. Like you've already been met with the lying, the denial, the redirection, like you're just met with all the things that when it comes time to have that conversation, then you're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know if I'm going to get something that I can work with or with something that is just not going to be truthful. And from there, we're going to start this cycle, because that's what I think happened to us. We started a cycle of just lies and like, what are we even doing? Like, I don't even know, like when we kind of really got into the cycle. But one thing that I know is, for me, I would see it. I would say something. I would be met with a lie. And then I would see it again. And then I would be met with redirection. And then that was just how things started working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, step one, and this sounds cliche because it is cliche. So, step one in dealing with your addiction is you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with the person. If you're in a relationship, be honest with that person, because you are not going to hold yourself accountable. If I had just been allowed to drink my drink whenever I wanted to drink, and I didn't have anybody that was checking me, it would have been a lot worse than it was. That it's not uncommon for people with addictions to hide their addiction. That's one of the questions that we ask people that before we bring them into recovery with us is if you are starting to hide things, or if you are starting to pull away from people or activities that used to bring you joy, things like that. One of the questions that we ask people before we bring them into recovery, where we are gauging where they are and how severe their addiction is are you withdrawing from people or activities that used to bring you joy, or are you hiding substances from other people? Like, are you hiding your use? Are you walking away? Do you not want people to know that you are taking a substance? Especially for socially acceptable drugs. Like, people will step outside to smoke. People will just have drinks at Christmas parties. But are you going into the bathroom to drink at a Christmas party? If so, ask yourself, why do you feel it necessary to hide that you're drinking? And who cares if you're drinking? Is this person in your corner? Are you hiding that you're drinking from this person, or that you're using whatever your substance of choice is because you know that they would not approve? If that's the reason, then that's probably somebody that you want to keep in your corner, because that's going to be your accountability partner. That person cares about you. You care what they think about you. So that's somebody that you're going to want to help you to maintain or achieve and then maintain your sobriety.
Yeah. And I would just say, for the person who is in the addict's corner, and you're going to be the one cheerleading them and rooting them on and through this journey, that you have to just be ready to just have those hard conversations. Like, you have to be ready for the conversation to, number one, even first have it, right? There's certain things that you have to do to make sure that you're protecting your heart and your peace, and that you're creating boundaries, so that when whatever answer you get, you're going to be prepared for it. Because like I said, when you get in that cycle, there's going to be an answer that you're going to get all the time, whether it's good or whether it's bad. more than likely it's not going to be the truth. I'm just going to say.
Do you remember what your answer that I gave you all the time was?
Why the answers that I just gave were the answers that I got from you.
What was that?
You have to roll it back and see.
What, like I didn't drink? That
Yes,
wasn't me?
Yes.
Okay.
Things like that. So you're going to have to make sure that you are ready for whatever answer they give you, right? And I would just say, if you are someone who struggles with anger, because that was the baseline for anything that I did concerning Baxter and his addiction. It was always immediately anger. It was, oh, well, if he told me the truth, I would be angry. If he told me a lie, I would be angry. It was just anger. But I never took the time to say, hey, Kandice, like, put yourself in the mind frame that whatever answer you get, you're going to have to keep it even. You're going to have to keep it cool. Like, whatever that looks like for you, looking on it now, like, that's what I would have loved for me. Like, honestly,
I would have loved that too.
Yeah. But when you're in it, like, when you are in it, and like I always say on these episodes, and you're frustrated and you're just angry and you're literally fighting for your life and your marriage and your husband and your kids and the household, and you're working, and one more thing on your plate is just too much. And especially when that one more thing literally takes up the entire plate, that's just a lot. So you go with what you know. And what I knew was anger. So what I'm telling you, for those who are in support of, you have got to find a way to deal with this every single time it happens. That's what I was saying.
That's absolutely true, and it's absolutely key. There is a saying, and probably my black households are probably households in general.
Your black household. What did you say?
My black household.
Oh, your black household.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's something said in black households, but I'm thinking it probably is said in any household.
It's the way that you're saying household that's making it sound completely different from household.
Household. I'm saying household.
You're saying household.
Okay. So the saying is, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Uh-huh.
And that is very key, because if, very truthfully, I'm not blaming Kandice for anything, but if you respond in anger to somebody, if you're angry and the person knows, if I tell them the truth, they're going to be angry. If I lie to them, they're going to be angry also. So, I mean, really, what do I have to lose by lying? What do I have to lose? I'm going to get the same reaction. But so that's how we process things. That's how the addict processes things. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm not saying that you have to like just be okay with it, but understand. Try responding with understanding. Understand that this person, their brain chemistry has changed. Their brain chemistry has now convinced them that the substance that they use, they need that to live. They need that just as much as they need to breathe. Sometimes literally, people that, get chemical dependencies to substances can die if they just stop it. So can I ask you a quick question, please?
When you're asking the loved one to just understand, how do they gain their understanding?
Well, again, realize that this person is dealing with a changed brain. The person that you met and started dating or fell in love with, or that you love, their brain is working and thinking differently than it was before this substance got root. So, like I said, you don't have to be okay with it. There is going to be anger and frustration, because addiction is a frustrating thing. It's a curse. I call it a curse. But put in your mind, when you are communicating with this person, when you see that they have slipped up again for the 5th time in that week, try to understand that this is something that they are struggling with also. Now, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. If somebody is just they're just not even addressing their addiction, it's still not beneficial to respond with anger, because then they're going to start hiding it from you. That's just what we're going to do. That's just what we do. If you respond in anger, if you show them, I really hate that you're doing this, they're going to just start hiding it from you. But if you respond with, hey, I noticed that you're doing this an awful lot. I know that this is something that we enjoy doing together, with friends, but you're doing it when we're not even with friends. Mm-hmm. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you so that you're not doing this with friends? Do you think that you need to see anybody? Do you think that you need to start going to meetings? Do you want me to go to meetings with you? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Try it out. If they're just like, nah, I'm fine. What are you talking about? That's a different conversation, and we'll get into that in a different kind of day, or a different day. But responding with anger, responding with disdain, with disgust, responding with anything other than, I see you and I know that this is probably not what you would prefer to do, because no addict wants to be an addict. No addict wants to be an addict. Even people that smoke, I'm sure that if they could just stop, because everybody knows that smoking kills you quicker than you need to die. But I mean, people just can't stop. They can't. They'd like to. We would like to, of course.
Yeah.
But we can't. Our brains have been rewired to think that we need this substance like we need to eat and breathe.
Yeah. And I listen, I just want you to know that I hear what you're saying. But when it's happening in real time, I just, for the person that's going through it with them, like I've said before, when you are in it with them, that's why it's really, really, really important that you have some real time action that you can take to make sure that you are taking care of you. Because whereas, Baxter, I hear you, but I'm just going back to those times when I was with you and I had to have these hard discussions, and I didn't want to. All I knew is that you were drinking again after you told me you weren't. Understanding went out the door. Logic went out the door. All of that was gone.
I'm advocating that the people that we're talking to, that they keep understanding and logic in the house.
Or gaining an understanding. I think it's important to gain the understanding.
Because we're trying to help people to learn from our mistakes, right?
Yes. So I think before you say just understand, I think that it's important to just let people know how to do that, right?
I can't tell you how to understand.
Not you, but I'm just saying, like, in general, like, and then that, I think that's, something that we can talk about and something that we can provide.
Yeah, I guess you have to, is this person worth understanding? Is this person worth, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And but not only that, but us who are in this fight with the addict, you have to if you're saying gain an understanding, then there's certain things that you have to do in order to do that, right? It's not something that is just like a light bulb moment and it comes on and you're like, oh, okay, like I understand what you're going through. I understand that this, because that's just not how it is for us. Mm-mm. So I think that it would be beneficial to maybe provide some type of resource or something to those who are having a hard time understanding what their loved one is going through with their addiction.
Al-Anon? I mean, you know.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why it exists.
Yeah. I don't want to, like, you know.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to give people, like, because that's like a chore. That's a chore. That's a chore for the person that loves the addict. I mean, if you love them, like, you know, people that I talk to every day, like, you know, they're dealing with their children a lot of times. So they're going to do the stuff. Yeah, they're going to do the stuff because they love their children.
So when you say it's a chore, it's all a chore.
Yeah, I mean, but
yeah,
okay, yeah, it is a chore. Is it worth it for you? Is it worth it for you? So yeah, if you love somebody that is dealing with an addiction, I guess maybe that's your homework. That's your step one. Figure out if this person is worth it to you.
Yeah.
To help through this.
And the majority of times they are worth it, right? And I would just say, don't get frustrated. Like, I was frustrated when I had to go to Al-Anon. I was really upset because I was thinking, I'm not the one who has the problem, right? I'm not the one who has the issue. He does. Why do I have to go to a meeting? Why do I have to give up a evening of my life to do something for me when he can just fix it himself? That was my mentality, right? Mm-hmm. So I do understand just like making sure that you have supports in place for yourself so that when it comes time to, I know you're saying chore, but
participate.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to do.
You have to participate in your loved one's recovery.
You do, because like we said, it's a family disease. It's not just a one. You are not in this by yourself. So with that being said,
you don't know why it's bringing up.
Yeah, it's just bringing up emotion in me because I just know how frustrating that is. Like, it's bringing up emotion in me because I know how frustrating that is. I know how it feels to be on one hand wanting to root for your loved one, but then on the other hand, just being tired of it at the same time. Like, on one hand, working so hard for the loved one and the family and yourself, and then on the other hand, just being like, this is whack. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just that fine line where that I really, really, really do pray that your relationship in God, because that's where God steps in. I'm just going to say, this is where God steps in. And this is where we need his power to help us through this spot. It's this spot right here. Because this spot is a make or break spot. This spot is either I'm going to rock this thing out with you and I'm going to pray and I'm going to believe God. Or this spot is also, listen, I don't know if I want to do this. I think I'm done with it. I think I'm out.
Yeah.
My prayer is that you would really tap in and really strengthen that relationship with God so that you can get instruction and you can get what you need in that season, because that is rough.
Yeah.
It's a rough season.
When dealing with addiction, substance use disorder, the word that rings out loudest to me is service. Service. You have to be willing to serve the addict. You have to be willing to serve them, coddle them, not really baby them, but like, you are going to be required to put yourself aside. For how long is undetermined. Really, Candice put herself aside for a while, decades, before, God delivered me. And, she put herself to the side, and God is who ultimately, did it for me. So like, but I'm eternally grateful to her because she could have given up. A part of her did give up, but a part of me gave up. So cut that part out. But
Stop saying cut that part out.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's
all in all. Go ahead. Are you? Because
I was just gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's just what we wanted to discuss today was just how the loved one of the addict can, help them, what they can do better than what we did. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but we're just telling you what we experienced and what we wish that we would have done better.
That's right. So again, we're rooting for you guys. We're praying for you, and we are of service to you. So if there is ever anything that you feel, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can really, our inbox is open. We respond to comments, and we really do try to be a vessel that's going to help the family through this addiction process, so that when you're in the sobriety side of things, then you'll just be happy that you were able to make it. So yeah, that is what we're here for, and that's our assignment right now, and that is that.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to wrap up, or just throw this in there. Like Candice said, our inbox is open. So if you want to tell us something anonymously, give us a scenario that you're dealing with, that you would like advice with, or that you were just like guidance with, and you're not really sure what direction to take, send us an inbox. And if you want us to talk about it on the show, let us know, because you're not the only person that are dealing with the issues that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So and I would just say, for myself, I am not a professional in this. I am just someone who has been walking through this journey for a couple of decades. So I'm just solely speaking on experience. Okay, that's it. That's all that I have. So with that being said, we want to wish you guys a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. And we'll be seeing you next week. Yep, that'll be next week. Will be our final episode for the series for the year, and we have a really fun story to tell you. So I really hope that you tap in with us next week. And until next time, we'll see you guys.